In the spring of 2017, I'll be teaching a class at Kientalerhof on Biotensegrity, fascia, and the Trager approach. My name is Bill Scholl, and I've been a Trager practitioner for almost 40 years and an instructor for about 35. I'm excited about the whole focus and interest that's being developed in the world right now on the area of biotensegrity. For the last 400 years, the belief in anatomy was essentially that we were a system of levers and pulleys, this human body. The first man who came up with that idea was an Italian engineer and architect in sometime around 1608. And he played around with animals and felt like what he was looking at was this bicep muscle connected to the shoulder, and here to the arm, the bicep muscle would contract and the arm would come up. And that was the basis of modern anatomy for roughly the last 400 years. Well, turns out that that's not all there is to it. That's sort of an engineering focus that has to do with, it's more acceptable if you're talking about skyscrapers, big buildings, than it is if you're talking about the human body. So there was a doctor, Dr. Stephen Levine, who was doing osteosurgery, bone surgery, spinal fusions and things for most of his career, and he came to believe that that really wasn't the case anymore. And he began to look at the body as the bones being more spacers and the soft tissue as being the tension holding the system together. And the more he began to delve into it, and the more he found like-minded scientists who wanted to work with him around that, the more their view of how the human body works changed. Some 30, 40 years ago, I sat for about 4 days and listened to Buckminster Fuller speak about tensegrity and about how structures actually exist. And it was way over my head. I don't think I understood a thing he said to me over those 4 days. But coming back to it with Dr. Levine, it began to become much more clear. And what became exciting about it from the Trager perspective is that I always knew that if I lift a foot with a client on the table, laying on their back, if I lift a foot, I knew I could feel what was going on through the whole system. I could feel all the way up into the atlas axis. And as I did that, as I began to look at the biotensegrity, I understood why I could feel it. And I know that Dr. Trager would have been thrilled if this stuff had become available information in his lifetime. Because he was clear about it and could never really explain it as to how it worked. So what we're going to do in this course is for 3 days we're going to look at, in a lot of detail, at what biotensegrity is. We'll look at slideshows, we'll play with models, we'll explore what that is. We'll spend some time talking about the fascial net and how that connects to the whole system. And then we'll go to the tables. Well, we'll play with the Trager work. We'll play with it standing, sitting, and at the tables to see how touch and how movement begins to take us through the whole system of this body. And it's pretty neat stuff. It's my current passion and interest, and I feel like I'm just beginning to really understand what's possible with it. So I can tell you that one of the reasons I wanted to teach this course was because it's really forcing me to go back to the books and back to the videos and deepen my own understanding of it to be able to teach it. So that's what we're going to do.